Hey everybody, this is Matt Bergman, and so I just had some random thoughts about designing a UDL lesson. And one of the things that I was thinking about is the whole idea of UDL lessons really have four components, right? Firm goals, methods, materials, and assessments that are flexible. So often learning begins with, what is your learning goal? And then you often think about, well, what barriers do you anticipate? Usually there's some type of access barrier, meaning being able to access materials, access learning. And then there's engagement barriers where, you're definitely maybe needing to make content relevant or more engaging for students. And you use methods and materials and assessments to provide some flexible pathways in order to get there. So this was an example of a project that I saw not too long ago on the Great Gatsby. And as you can see right here, you have a learning goal. And this learning goal lends itself to some flexibility. Now, with flexibility, you can often be flexible in the product, or you can be flexible in the process of learning. We might not be familiar with the process of learning, but let's say, for instance, we had to give an essay that students had to write on the Great Gatsby. We could provide some flexible options for writing that essay. Maybe there's brainstorming tools that we could use, post-it notes, graphic organizer. Maybe there's a different way of constructing it using Google Docs, using text-to-speech type of tools. Flexibility in the product means being able to reach the goal through multiple means of action and expression or different ways of showing what you know. So this is an example right here of that learning goal providing you with options to either write, present, or multimedia. Now, the sweet spot of choice is generally between 2 and 5, according to research. And the problem is like, well, how do you grade it, right? So I'll get to that in just a second. But one of the things we embedded was success criteria. These are the things that I know that I'm going to be successful on this project if I do these. And these are little check boxes that you can add onto your Google Doc and give students their own copy. More on that later as well. Frequently asked questions. Those are really important sometimes to help students self-direct their learning and take responsibility for their learning. Now, grading these things, a single point rubric is an awesome tool for doing that because you can put down, hey, these are the things that I'm trying to measure, and these are areas for improvement or areas for exceeding standards. You could also do this with a holistic rubric or any type of rubric of your choice, but making sure that you're contextually relevant, like you're actually measuring things that are in the goal rather than things like creativity, which can be subjective. So, one of those things that you can you can do as well is, let's say, for instance, you wanted to share this document, you wanted students to generate their own copy. One thing that you could have them do is you could simply go up to the share button, make sure that you have anyone with the link can edit or view. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go right here and I'm going to paste that URL. Now, with URLs in Google, any URL that you have always ends with edit and then this USP sharing, okay, this right here. So I'm just going to put that in red. Now, something that could be very helpful is forcing a copy. If you don't use a system like Google Classroom and other learning management systems, you can simply just put this in your document so that students can just click on it and it forces a copy. The problem with this approach is that you can't see what you're making a copy of. So I suggest you do this instead. You type in the word template and then /preview. When you do that, you can simply click on this and check it out. It's like a thumbnail preview of what you have. Now, here's something even better. So you see how this URL is like all over the place? One thing that you can do now with Google, I think, which is pretty neat, is use these things called smart chips. So if I paste, oops, let me just do this one more time. Let me get rid of this link so that you can see what this is going to look like. Smart chips look a lot better because then what you can do, you can get this right. Try this one more time here. Is now I can hit tab and it becomes this icon right here. Isn't that neat? So that's another feature in Google as well. You can do the same thing with YouTube videos, etc. So those are some random thoughts about universal design for learning. As always, feel free to leave comments or subscribe to my blog, Learn, Lead, Grow.